Hello, good morning, and welcome to this week's serving of Mickey Waffles, a Disney podcast where we cover everything from parks, movies, and merchandise. My name is Sinead.
My name's Kate. Hi, guys. How's it going?
I'm good, Kate. How are you?
I'm doing pretty fine. You know what today is, Sinead?
Today's Tuesday.
You know what that means. It's Special Guest Tuesday. Who do we have this week, Sinead?
This week, for the second week in a row, we have Sandy.
Hey! How are you, Sandy?
I'm good. Second week of isolation and I'm loving it. It's great.
Excellent. Are you excited to get out into the big bad world again?
Do you know what? Like Sunday after Sunday, I can leave the house and I probably won't leave unless I really want a Starbucks, but no.
There's nothing, to be honest, that is probably one of the only reasons I might leave my house if I didn't have to go to work. Also, on the note of Starbucks, the Starbucks in Dundrum no longer writes on the cups. They have the little machine that prints out the sticker and you stick it on the cup like they have in America. They got whole new till systems and a new POS system. And I was almost like, oh my God, you guys got new PED machines. Wow, that's so... I was like, whoa, reel it back. No one gives a shit.
But it's just like, so they went from using one pen and not using extra plastic to now printing out plastic stickers to stick on every single cup.
Yeah, it's the same system they use in America, though. I think it's to like stop confusion because you can read much clearer on the sticker what people have asked for. In saying that, though, I asked for an iced pumpkin spice latte with cream, and I got a pumpkin spice latte, but it was very heavy on the pumpkin, and there was no cream.
Oh.
But to be honest, I'd forgotten that I asked for cream, so by the time I'd left the shop, I was like, oh, I asked for cream on this damn. But also, a girl I work with, her friend used to work in Starbucks, and they said that they stopped sending them the flat lids, and they just have to use like the dome lids now for the cold cups. So I think they're good. So I think they're looking to phase them out to introduce the little sippy cups like they have for the hot drinks, but for the cold drinks, which I would be all for.
That's fine. I hate getting it. Like if I just get like a cold brew, I hate when they give me a dome lid. Like it irrationally irritates me.
I think most places are doing it now. I don't think a lot of places have the flat lids anymore because they're trying to get rid of them. I don't think they make them anymore. They're only like I've only had the dome lids now for ages.
Weird. Although in fairness, I never go to Starbucks. If I'm gonna get a coffee out of it, I'm gonna go to Butler's purely because I want a chocolate.
That's fair. See,
this time of year I have to go to Starbucks. For me.
Yeah.
For pumpkin spice latte, or just because you're legally obliged to only shop in Starbucks for October to December?
It's purely just for their pumpkin spice, and then the rest of the year I actually go and get good coffee.
Yeah, to be honest. Yeah, to be fair, like I do try and get Butlers when I go to work rather than... But the thing is as well, like, so where I come in from Dundrum, Starbucks is like right there at the door. And if I want a Butlers, I have to go down and then walk and then a bit. Go back up. And so if I don't have time, if I only have like 5 minutes, that's all I can muster.
That's fair.
But yeah, I am enjoying the pumpkin spice season, but only if iced and only if light on the pumpkin. If it gets neon orange, we've gone too far.
I still haven't got an iced one like from Starbucks. So maybe that's what I need to do before the season comes out.
They're also really sweet. I don't know if you'd like it.
Oh, maybe not then. Because I like my coffee very coffee.
No, see, it's very just sweet. Like it's very... I know that Ryan was saying that he saw... I heard him... I don't know, one of his many podcasts was talking about seeing someone who got one that didn't have coffee in it and like a Frappuccino based one. And it was just... the coloring, and he was like, it was like neon orange. It's so artificial. Like it is a really artificial flavoring.
Yeah.
But yeah. So yeah, I don't know. But like, I mean, if we want to get one while we socially distance on a trip someday and you don't like it, I'll take it.
That's what we'll do. That's what we'll do. We'll go for a socially distanced walk in town, and if I don't like it, I'll pass it on to you. There's one.
Excellent choice.
I do have a question to ask the two of you, and I feel like we need to update the people because it's been a thing. So the two of you have got Banshee bones this week. What did you think? Give us a review.
Oh yeah. Go on, Sandy, you go first.
You know what? They taste the same. I feel like they don't taste any different, and I'm so here for it. I'm so happy. I've had 3 packets today now, not gonna lie.
Oh, yeah. I would love just like to wolf them in, to be honest.
Yeah, and I'm not guilty at all. It was bloody fabulous.
They're so good. They're so good.
Oh, amazing.
KP, because you hadn't had them before. And obviously
No,
I have hyped them up a lot for a long time.
Yeah, I don't think, like, I might have when I was younger just not remembered. Like, I don't remember every crisp I ever ate. But yeah, I did really like them. You brought them to me while I was in work, so I did have some with my lunch. And my initial thought was they looked like little telephones. That was the first thing that came to mind. Like the really old type of telephones that have the, not the really old type with the receiver, like the ring ones, those ones. The ones like, hello?
A corded phone.
Yeah, that's the one. They gave me those vibes, but I did really like them. They had a really good texture to them. They weren't like too, like, you know, like Monster Munch, or sometimes just a bit too much on like the texture scale. They weren't like that. They were good. I do have to say my tongue was a bit rough afterwards. It definitely did leave that sort of stingy effect that you mentioned. But yeah, I really like them. I have 1 packet left, and I guess I'll eat it with my lunch tomorrow, but I would like another, another multi-pack. I think I would enjoy eating them on the regular, to be honest.
See, we just really have to hope that Teo just keep them.
Yeah, like, I mean, there's been such hype and they're so difficult to find. Like, I feel like they should just, if they kept them in regular circulation, they'd still sell really well. For like fuck's sake, they still like Burger Bites. Burger Bites have turned shit, and Skips are crap now too. Like, just keep Banshee Bones.
Right. I feel like you have to draft a letter to Tato. I feel like you'd be the right person to draft a letter.
Would I be good at that?
I think you would. And, you know, just tell Tato. Tell Tato they need to keep it up.
Yeah. I'll draw them a graph. Here is your expected profit from Banshee Bones compared to Burger Bites.
There you go.
Now, which one should you keep on the market?
You can do a cost analysis. It'll be a good time.
There you go.
So how's your week been,
I did not go to college for. Yeah, fine. Again, not much to say. These weeks have been a lot of the same. I get up, I go to work, I come home. We watch either Angel or Buffy. We've nearly finished AP Bio. Oh, have either of you ever watched AP Bio?
No.
It's so funny. Like, it's stupid, but it's funny. And the episodes are like 20 minutes long. It's a nice little like injection of funny in your life. But I think there's only 2 seasons and we're nearly finished the 2nd season, so that's sad. But yeah, I worked all last weekend. Gonna make cupcakes this weekend because it's Ellen's birthday on Monday. She's gonna be 18.
Amazing.
And because I can't go see her because she lives in a different county, we're going to Zoom as a fam on Monday, and I'm going to make cupcakes for me and Ed so that we can feel like we're in the party spirit.
And tease her with your cupcakes that you made that she can't have.
Oh God, I can't.
I offered to make a cake if someone would come get it, but no one can come get it. And then Ellen was like, I had the same idea. I was going to make a cake for each like family household. So like us, them, my granny and granddad, my auntie, my uncle. But she was like, I have no way to get them to everyone. And we were like, oh well. So I think this year they're settling for a store-bought cake. But that's me and Ed will have cupcakes.
That's cute though. What kind of cupcakes are you going to make?
Do you know what? I was talking about this yesterday. I'm thinking I might try and find some form of peanut butter cupcake recipe, which will probably also have chocolate in it. Because I was thinking, I was like, oh, like vanilla cupcakes are like, they're grand and I can make them look pretty, but like, it's a bit boring. Like I have all of Sunday off. I might as well like do a bake that's going to take a little bit longer. And I was like, what should I do? And I was like, oh, something I've always wanted to do is peanut butter cupcakes. Because Ed has a great peanut butter cookie recipe and they're great. And I'm like, okay, peanut butter cookies we have down. We don't have to worry about those. But peanut butter cupcakes, that's a whole different story.
And then you should go to Lidl and you should get the little peanut butter, the little Reese's cup pumpkins, and you should put those on top.
Yeah. Ed showed me those and he was like, have you seen these? And I was like, yes, someone showed me them. can't remember where they're from. So I think we might also have to go and hunt for those because we've 2 Lidls not that far away from us.
It was when I went on the hunt for Banshee bones and walked down to my local Lidl, which is probably like a 20-minute walk.
Bray?
No, in Shankill.
The Lidl in Shankill. I forgot.
Beside the church.
Yes.
Because everything in Ireland is beside a church. And I love peanut butter. It cannot be in the house. I love peanut butter. It's dangerous around me.
Spoonful.
And I picked them up and like I love nothing more than Reese's peanut butter cups. And I was like, and they're in the shape of pumpkins. And I was like, I need to leave these here because I will eat them on the way home. So yeah. But no, I'm excited to see your baking escapades.
Me too. I think we might end up making, I think what might happen is it might be some sort of like very light accented peanut butter chocolate like cupcake batter. And then it'll probably be like some form of peanut butter like frosting on the top. I think that's what the aim might be. But we'll see how we go. Yeah.
Nice.
And then the other thing that happened was that you visited me in work. You brought me the pop filter, Banshee bones, and then also these really sour Halloween gummies that are fantastic.
I'm like the spooky tooth fairy. I was just like, here's all your spooky treats.
My favorite thing is that the packet says like spooky ghosts. There's not a single ghost in there. It's all bats and pumpkins. They're like these massive bats. They're literally like this. I ate them all. And I didn't eat them all. I ate the ones that were beside me. These massive bats that are like this big, like a good 3 centimeters. And there's tiny bats. And then there's pumpkins. There's not a single ghost in the packet.
Ghosts are clearly invisible.
Oh, do you know what, Sandy? You're right. Clearly invisible. What about you? Anything exciting?
Well, I have decided that this is the year that I'm going to make myself like horror movies. So basically that's all I've been doing recently is watching horror movies.
Oh, shit.
Are you okay?
Sorry. Yeah. I was messing and took it too far. Everything's fine.
So I'm periodically making my way through a very long list of horror movies that people keep sending to me. And if you have any horror recommendations, please send them to me.
No, don't. Your list is long enough as it is. I don't think you need more recommendations.
Kate, I have nothing but spare time. I have nothing but spare time.
Okay, fair.
So I literally spent my entire weekend on Friday. I watched Halloween 2 and Halloween 3. I bloody loved Halloween 3. It was great.
Did you like them? Because Ed suggested to me to tell you to not to watch 2 and 3 because they're shit. And to go straight to like the new one.
Kate, so Halloween 3 is nothing to do with Michael Myers. Halloween 3 is about this disgruntled Irish toy maker that hates that the Americans have bastardized Samhain. So he creates masks to kill all the American children as like revenge.
Oh.
Obviously, I loved it.
That makes sense as to why you'd like it. Gotcha. It's all coming full circle.
I bloody loved it.
Anyway, go on. What else did you watch?
So that's what I watched on Friday. And then Saturday, I watched Night of the Living Dead. And what else did I watch? White Zombie. I think that was the other one that I watched. Which was good. Enjoyed both of them very much so. Ended up on a black and white theme. And then on and then on Sunday afternoon, the most like gloriously sunny day we've had in all of October, I decided to just sit down and watch The Exorcist. Which really enjoyed. That was great. And then I decided to take a break from the horror train, but kind of in a similar spooky vein. I watched Ed Wood, which I'd never seen before. Don't know how I'd never seen it before. 90s Johnny Depp, Tim Burton, kind of spooky. It's in black and white. Bloody loved it.
Yeah, I saw that you put that up on Instagram and I was like, I don't even know what that movie is.
I don't know how I never heard it, because like I love me some 90s Johnny Depp. Like, and I'm a 90s emo kid, so obviously I love everything Tim Burton as well. I was like, how has this completely passed me by? But I really enjoyed it. So yeah, so I'm well and truly on the spooky train. This week, I think I'm going to tackle The Shining.
The Shining, that's the one with the twins and the guy in the door.
Yes.
See, I know the references. I just don't need to know the movies.
And that's fine.
And that's how I shall live my life.
Great in that.
So if anybody does have any more, I feel like Ben and Mikey are going to like come at me with a load of recommendations. But if anybody does have any recommendations, feel free to send them over. I'll get to them eventually.
There you go. Don't send any to me. I won't watch them. Don't even try me.
So I think this is probably the longest intro we've ever done.
It's because we know we have no news.
But shall we get to the bit of news that we do have?
Yes, the news. Okay, so to start out the news this week, let's talk a little bit about EMT, where it is and is not happening. So, Extra Magic Time for DLP, the program for October 2020 has just been released. In Disneyland Paris, you've got Phantom Manor, Big Thunder Mountain, the Pinocchio Ride, the Carousel, Peter Pan's Flight, Dumbo, Orbitron, Star Wars Hyperspace Mountain, and the Market House Deli. Wow. And because Walt Disney Studios Park doesn't open until like 5 p.m, there is no EMT for Walt Disney Studios at the moment.
Yeah, it's weird.
Have they always put like the restaurants in for Magic at EMT?
I actually don't know. I mean, I could probably search through the WhatsApp and try and find it, but I don't think
it's not
they
that
did.
Important. I thought it was interesting that like Market House Deli was there. Also, Market House Deli is like the most shit place to get food on Main Street. Anyway, so yeah, that's the current update for EMT for DLP.
Fun times. So we had an update around the annual pass holder privilege tickets. So from November 6th to March 31st, they are introducing a tiered price for the privilege tickets, which I'm kind of dubious about this. Can they just change the agreement that you have with them?
Yeah,
because
I'd say it probably says it.
Because like the first time I got my annual pass, they were €35 for your privilege tickets, and then midway through the year they changed it, but it didn't affect my pass because the agreement that I was set up with, it was still €35. But when I renewed, it then went to the €39. So I'm kind of like
39.
I'm like, can you all do that? But anyways, so for Infinity tickets in low season, it's €37, and in high season, it's €52. So quite a significant jump.
52 is a lot.
Yeah. That's like not that much off just a single day ticket.
Yeah.
Realistically. And then if you have Magic Plus, low season is €42 and high season is €57. So high season is November 7th, 8th, 14th, 15th, 21st, 22nd, 28th, and 29th. I'm assuming they're all just weekends. In December, it's the 5th, the 6th, the 12th, 13th, and then from the 19th to the 31st. January, it's the 1st to the 3rd. February, it is the 13th, 20th, and 27th. And then in March, it is 6th, 13th, 14th, 20th, 21st, 27th, 28th. But they're all listed in DLP report, and I would recommend going and checking there because nobody's going to remember all those numbers that I just said.
They're basically all Friday, Saturday, Sundays.
Yeah.
Or important days. So like New Year's Day. The rest of them are mostly just Friday, Saturday, Sundays, which is to be thought. Yeah, it is a bit fucking rude, but also
€15 price hike.
Like, it's a lot. Like, it used to be like if you were using the friends and family tickets, you could go for 3 days for less than 100 quid, basically, or near enough. And now it's like 150, 160. Like, that's a big hike for like 3 days.
Yeah, not good.
But I mean, obviously they're losing out money on this whole COVID situation, so I guess they just have to kind of cope where they can. And they, like, you never know, because it's because it's mostly annual pass holders that are going now. I wonder, has there been an increase in people buying AP privilege tickets? And they're like, well, like, to make this back, like, we just have to make them pay closer to a regular price ticket because we're just losing so much money. I don't know.
Yeah, because I'd say a lot of people aren't.
I agree with
but I'd say a lot of people aren't like renewing their annual passes or aren't doing it at the minute anyways. So rather than do that, they'll just get the privilege tickets with their friends or whatever. I don't know.
So yeah, that's interesting. Then something else that's interesting. There's a new Spear jersey in Disneyland Paris. It's Lion King. Okay, cool, great. It's really nice on the back. It's really nice on the back. It's got like the sunset fade from red to yellow, and it's got a little paw print down at the butt, which I think is really cute. But then the front,
the paw print.
yeah, see the paw print at the little. I don't know if you can see it at the bottom there.
Oh, cute! No, I didn't see that. I like it.
Finger there.
I like it.
It's like a being came behind you and just tapped you and went "Arr," and went boop. But then the front I'm not too great. Like the front I don't really care about. Timon, Pumbaa, and Simba doing their like no worries dance. And I actually think it's also what's the bird? Don't tell me.
Zazu.
No one tell me. Oh, Zazu.
Oh, sorry. Oops.
Christ. It's got all them prancing along, and then it says Le Roi Lion. So it's not even got like the Lion King in English, it has it in French with like this like circle sunset background. It's kind of disappointing because if it was just the back, I would probably be pretty jazzed in buying it. But because it's got that print on the front, I don't want it.
Even if they'd taken the like circle design and just like squished it down and put that as the thing on the front, absolutely
like
perfect. I don't like spirit jerseys that have a lot on the front because I feel like the whole point of them is that it's meant to be on the back.
Yeah, like that's where your spirit is.
That's where the party is. They're like mullets.
Hey,
business in the front, party in the back.
They're $59.99, and you can find them. Well, these have been found in the Indiana Jones Adventure Outpost. I really just, just quick spirit jersey talk. I really, really want that green one from shopdisney.com, but I just can't. The taxes will hit me so hard.
Beautiful.
I know, like the taxes are going to wallop me in the face, so I just can't do it.
Yeah.
It's not worth the pain.
It's not also not worth that additional €10 fee that you get charged by Post. But
fucking bitches. And I'd also have to make sure I have cash in the house to pay the postman when he comes to the door and just demands cash. Like, what a stupid system. You can't pay it online. It's like, no, give the postman cash. Who carries cash?
Especially now.
He needs to get a little tappa.
He does. He does. So, some updates that we've had to Videopolis, Cafe Hyperion. I never know what you're actually supposed to call it. It has like 15 different names. But there's some new phone charging cubes and stations that are being installed in there. So guess you can bring and use your own USB cable, or you can use some of the wireless charging. So it's in that like little like starry tunnel bit that is kind of right opposite the entrance to Hyperspace Mountain. So as I said, you can either bring your own USB plugs and just kind of use those, or they do have the wireless little slots. I assume this is because they're trying to encourage more people to use their phones for the likes of standby pass. So at least they're giving people the option to be able to then kind of charge their phones. So yeah, at least it's free as well, which is shocking.
Yeah, something that's most definitely not free is our next piece of news for Walt Disney World. They have started releasing new travel packages for Walt Disney World for 2021 on the Irish and I assume also the UK website. So their tagline is "Wish you were here" from €1,140 per person. Magic is waiting. I would just want to read it because I love the way Disney write things. Magic is waiting, and we're excited to welcome you back in 2021. Join your favorite characters, ride thrilling attractions, and experience world-class dining. There's so much to enjoy at Walt Disney World. I hate these people. So
I did some research into this, right? And I have gone and I've done like 3 scenarios. Can you tell that I had a lot of time? Because we had no news.
We love different scenarios.
Right. So the first one I've done is 2 adults, 2 children. And this is from they're all for 2 weeks. So it's from the 1st of March for 2 weeks. So to stay in Pop Century, so Value Resort, 2 adults, 2 children in a standard room. And then adding on 2 weeks worth of tickets. How much do you think?
See, you've already told me one of the prices. So in my head, it's astronomical. So I think, I don't know.
Sandy, any guesses?
2 adults, 2 kids, Pop. Just tickets, no dining.
No dining. But you do get a $200 gift card.
I'm going to go with that doesn't exist and that's non-existent money. I'm going to go with 4-6.
Sandy?
Oh, I'd
This is
probably
such a
go
fun
up a
game.
bit and go 5-2.
Oh, good one. That's
So
a good one. That's
Kate
a
was
good one.
actually closer. So the original price is 4,566. You're actually alarmingly
Holy
close, Kate.
shit!
Wow.
I was really close.
But when with this like offer on, it's €4,207.90 for 2 adults, 2 children for 2 weeks, including tickets. And then just for shits and giggles, I went on to Skyscanner and looked up flights. So flights with Delta with one stop in JFK are 1,129. So if you were to go on that family holiday, not including any spending money or any food, it's just under $5,500
Was that 1,000 something for the whole family?
for the
For
flights.
the
Yeah.
flights? That's really
I
good.
I saw a thing the other day where Aer Lingus were offering flights for spring next year, and it was €75 to go to Boston. €75 to go to Boston.
We can't go anywhere.
No, I
Stop
know.
it.
I'm well aware. Right. So then I did the same. 2 adults, 2 children, 2 weeks. This is in July, so from the 12th of July. So this time we're going to Coronado Springs, which is a moderate resort. Again, 2 weeks. You get your $200 gift card. There's no dining. What are we thinking?
Okay, so I'm going to up it slightly, and I'm going to go to 5-6.
Okay. Sandy?
Oh, I'll go slightly under with just 5-4.
What a great game!
So the original price is actually 5,560. Kate, you're on it.
Wow.
I'm just so good at my Disney World holidays. I just know it.
And then with the offer, it's €4,559. So you get
Much better
like a grand off that
saving.
one. Much better
See,
saving.
but that would obviously push you into a more moderate resort then, rather than going to the values.
Yeah. So you're getting a nicer
But I
room
don't
for
know
basically
why
the same
they'd-
price. Well, the only thing is,
But I don't understand why they'd want to push you
Pop has
into a
a skyline.
moderate hotel.
Don't know.
Well, yeah. Well, to be honest, like when we were in the before times, when we were thinking of going to Disney World, we were like, oh, let's pick a hotel that has the Skyliner, because that just makes life way easier. You don't have to get on a stupid bus.
No, absolutely.
So yeah, that is actually a really good point.
Yeah. And then I looked up flights. So flights in the summer. So again, 2 adults, 2 children, €1,629. So you are paying an additional £500 for flights.
That is so cheap for 4 people.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot.
So last one. And I priced this as if it was me and KP going. So there's no children involved in this one. So this is 2 adults going on the 11th of September, so that we would be there for my birthday for our first park day. And we're staying in Caribbean Beach Resort in a pirate room, which is a standard room, seemingly.
That's
Again,
exciting.
no dining involved. Does have your tickets, $200 gift card. What we thinking?
For 2 of us, no kids. So is this a deluxe resort now?
No, it's still a moderate.
Moderate.
Yeah.
3-9.
Okay, Sandy.
Oh God. No, I'd say it'd be a little bit cheaper. I'd say we'll go 3-2-ish, 3-3.
Ooh, good.
Okay, y'all are off. So the original price is 5,800.
No way is it cheaper to have children.
Right? And then the price that they're giving you is €4,498. So it's $4,500 for 2 adults and no children. Yeah.
It's cheaper for me to pretend that I have children.
Basically, yeah. Now, these are all different dates. So obviously the first one was March,
actually,
the second one was July. And obviously this is just before Magic Kingdom's 50th. This is like you go home like the week before the 50th. But the difference is what the flights are €626. But obviously that's because it's for only 2 people.
Are we going?
So the total cost of that is €5,125 for 2 weeks. So it's still over $2,000
what's
each.
That 2.5 each, then like $1,000 for spending and food. So what's that, 3.5? If we didn't go to Universal, might be quiet. America still might be on fire. There might not be any people there.
But so Craig threw this into the After Dark Facebook group earlier. And we were all kind of having a chat about it. And like, I mean, I've been to Walt Disney World the one time. Everything to do with Walt Disney World is very expensive as far as I'm concerned. But all of them were saying that's astronomically expensive, especially because traditionally the UK and Ireland have always had some form of dining thrown in. If you were staying in a value resort, you at least got breakfast thrown in. If you stayed in a moderate, you got the like basic dining plan where you got 2 quick service meals, or if you stayed in a deluxe, you got the kind of like moderate dining plan thrown in. The fact that this includes nothing to do with dining, that's very expensive.
Yeah, I think I forget that there's absolutely no food involved there.
Yeah, so you have to fork out for everything up front, or you have to then go and add a dining plan, which is expensive.
Also very expensive. Why would you do that?
So I went and did some maths because I knew Kate loves the game.
That was really fun. I really loved that.
Maybe we'll have this as a segment. Every so often we'll price trips for various different Disney parks.
We should. And we should like add different packages to them and stuff. And like I just obviously won't know the prices for shit.
Yeah, there we go. Although I have to say for the first 2 you were pretty bang on.
Yeah, I think that's like an inert skill.
There you go. Is it useful for most things? Probably not, but here we are. It's useful in the podcast.
No. So yeah, that's all you need to know about the new Walt Disney World packages. Don't buy them. Just wait it out.
Yeah, it's very
wait how long?
And because
I don't know.
I know. And because I ordered the news wrong, we have one tiny bit of DLP news left because silly.
Yeah, I just noticed that. Sorry.
So how do we think we say this word? Tales? Towels?
Tales? Do you know how to say it, Sandy?
It's Talys.
No, Thalyls.
Oh yeah.
It's like a French. It's a French train company, is it?
Tales? I don't know. This train company has extended the cancellation of their direct service to Disneyland Paris until March 13th, 2021. So train ways of getting to DLP and buses actually, are slowly but surely dwindling, which is fun.
Let's see if Google knows how to say it. Oh, I didn't turn her up. Sorry.
Thalys.
Thalys?
Thalys.
Thalys. Did you hear that?
Thalys. Thalys.
There you go.
Love it.
That's how you say it. Thanks,
There
Google.
you go.
You've been a star.
Brilliant.
So after that, wow, that was great. Some really exciting news, and I'm not being sarcastic. Some actually really exciting news. It was announced this week that Soul, the new Disney Pixar movie, is going straight to Disney Plus for Christmas, not on Premier Access. It's just going to everyone on December 25th. I think that's wild.
Yeah, it's a bit bananas. I'm shocked that they're not trialing Premier Access for it, but I wonder if they just weren't anticipating it to do as well. But we spoke about this a little bit on Disney Parks and Beyond yesterday, about like the death of cinemas at the minute, because obviously everything that's gone on with Cineworld and all that kind of stuff. But we were saying, do we think Disney Plus will get to the stage where maybe it'll be you have like your basic Disney Plus price package, and then you can pay like a year's additional fee and you just get everything automatically added day one of release. So if it was like anywhere between say like 30 and 50 quid that you could pay extra, and then every new release released under the Walt Disney umbrella, you just automatically got access to at home. Do we think that's something they might do?
Yeah,
I'd pay for it.
I'd pay for
Honestly.
it, but I don't know if it's something they do.
Yeah.
Because I know in the next bit we talk about how they've moved around their focuses and stuff at the moment, but like direct to consumer is definitely going to be a main focus for a long time now, I think.
Yeah.
So I think they need to make as much money as possible. And I think if they offered just like that second tier as just like a broad payment of like an extra 50 quid a month, I don't think that's enough to get by with what would be. So like if me and Ed would always see every Pixar movie in the cinema. We just would.
Yeah.
So like when we go to cinema, we're paying like altogether like what, 40 something, maybe 50 euro for the two of us, because we always get popcorn and drinks and that kind of stuff. I know the popcorn and drinks don't go to them, but like we'd happily spend that money to go to the cinema. And it's like, I think they kind of expect the same sort of income. So putting it on Premier Access, I think, is the closest way to get the same level of income rather than just doing a blanket 50 quid for the entire year.
True.
I don't know. Like, I'm not a Disney exec. I don't know. I do think it's really interesting that they haven't put it on Premier Access though, because personally, especially for the year that's in it, we don't know where everyone's going to be on Christmas. Nobody knows what rules their country's going to be in. Like, it may be a Christmas where we can't go see specific members of specific families and that kind of stuff. So there might be families with children that are stuck at home. What are you going to do? I'll happily pay for the newest Pixar movie. Of course I will.
Yeah.
Like, I know that I guess I'm complaining that Disney aren't taking advantage of people.
How uncommon for us.
Yeah, so like I guess it's great that Soul's being released to all like subscribers of Disney Plus for no extra charge on Christmas Day. It's just very un-Disney, and I find it interesting.
Yeah, it's weird. I don't know. Like, I'm excited. I don't know if I'll end up watching it on Christmas Day.
Oh, I think we might.
Yeah, I don't know. Might watch it in the
Just
evening with a
another-
sandwich.
Wow, how specific.
I love a Christmas sandwich.
Yeah, I know that's what you meant, but you just went sandwich. As in like a nice little PB&J. The one tiny thing I'd like to say about Soul is that Ed saw some like reviews for Soul, like for early reviewers and critics and stuff. And one person said it was the best Pixar movie that Pixar have ever made.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, that's a bold statement. So I actually think it's going. And like most of the critiques that came around it were pretty similar. I don't think there's really been anything bad said about it. And I mean, it's not like they need to push positive reviews because they're not pushing anyone to go to the cinema to see it.
True, yeah.
So
that is a very valid point.
But, you know, always excited for new content on Disney Plus.
Have you watched the Animal Kingdom show yet?
Yeah, I'm all caught up.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You liking it?
I would like if they would tell me who's still employed, though.
Well, there is that.
I was watching it in work, and the guy beside me was like, "It would be like, do you know when you watch documentaries based on real life, and then at the end it gives you like a recap of where everyone is now?" He's like, "It would be like that, but just really sad. It would be like Barbara now works at Walmart."
Yeah, because you have to think like the girl that was like taking care of the little Ray pup. I'm just like,
yeah.
Are you still on maternity leave? Do you have a job to go back to?
Yeah. And it's like, oh, like Dr. Dan, and it's like, oh wow, he's obviously like so skilled and he knows all these animals. I'm like, they could have kicked him to the curb. Like, you don't know.
Yeah.
They were kicking people to the curb left, right, and center. I'm like, oh, I hope at least most of you are still employed.
Yeah, it's a bit bananas, all right. But speaking of people that Disney don't kick to the curb, unless you're Catherine Pell, it's all their execs. So they've done a bit of a shake-up. I'm not going to go through and read out everybody that they've moved around because there's an awful lot of names and I don't think anybody cares. And if you do go to the Diz, they've done a whole article on it. They've done a wonderful job. Go look at that. They did announce that they have 100 million Disney Plus subscribers, which is bananas. Like,
is that worldwide?
Think so, yeah.
So? That's fine with me. That would make sense. There's like 10 trillion people in the world.
Yeah. So the main, I suppose, kind of announcement that came from it, and that Bob Chapek was droning on about, is that they are putting such emphasis onto their direct consumer and their streaming services. So we have Kareem Daniel has been named as the head of the new Walt Disney Company division, Media and Entertainment Distribution, in charge of the dissemination and ad sales for all Disney content, including across streaming services and of course Disney Plus. So yeah, I think everything that's gone on with various different cinema chains closing or only opening at the weekend and stuff like that, I think it is kind of making Disney and a lot of other studios look at pushing their, I suppose, kind of wares onto streaming services and whatnot. So is this potentially the death of the cinema? No.
I hope not. I think this is a great opportunity for Disney to make Hulu a European streaming service. A full European streaming service, not just in like Spain or wherever it is. Bring it over here. Let me have some of that Hulu action. Just saying. I think they're missing out on such a big market.
No, I agree.
I just think sometimes they're so stupid. But anyway. The last piece of news is that the California governor has sent or will send a team to observe Disney World in how they are doing by having a theme park open in this COVID time. Dr. Pamela Himmel, the Chief Medical Officer of Disney Parks, Experiences and Products, did issue a statement that basically was like, there is no goddamn reason Disneyland shouldn't be open. Every other theme park we own is open and running smoothly. Open is basically what that very professional statement says that I'm not going to read out because it's boring.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of get where they're coming from. Like, every other park is opened and there hasn't been, no one's been able to attribute a spike in cases in an area to do with a Disney park being open, because let's call a spade a spade. The media would love nothing more than to be able to run a story about Disney being a massive outbreak or a reason for an outbreak of COVID. So I get where she's coming from, but yeah, I don't know if it's going to help.
I also get where the California governor is coming from.
Oh, no, absolutely. Absolutely. At the end of the day, he's doing what he can to keep people safe.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's it for the news. Hope you enjoyed that.
So we had Sandy on last week talking all about what DLP is like at the minute with current COVID restrictions and all that good stuff. So if you haven't checked out last week's episode, what are you doing? You need to go catch up. Link is in the show notes. But we decided that we'd get Sandy on again because we love reviewing Halloween, and unfortunately, me and Kate ain't going to be going to Halloween, so we were like, why not? Why not chat to Sandy and see what Halloween is like during COVID times / for 2020? But before we specifically talk about Halloween, there was something that we completely forgot to ask you about last week. So whilst you were there, you got evac'd off Big Thunder Mountain, and I was bloody buzzing about it. Tell us about it.
You were buzzing. I was freaking buzzing. I'm like,
yeah, but you were at least experiencing. I was sitting at my desk in work, not in work, at home. But I was like, oh my god, at least you had a reason to be excited.
I mean, right. So that was on our last day. Yeah, no, that was on our last day. And Big Thunder, we're big Thunder fans. Like, we love a good Big Thunder. Like, our record is 12 times in a row on Big Thunder. Like, just keep going. And
well done.
That's just where we like to spend our time. So our last day, it was coming up to about 10 to 6. Park was closing at 6. We were like, right, look, one last go on the mountain. Why not? So we go to Big Thunder, and I mean, like, it was walk on the entire time we were there. So it took about 5 minutes to get to the bleeding train. So got to the train, that was fine. Like, you know, we're on the wildest ride in the wilderness. We're zooming along under the lake, waving at people on the Molly Brown. We are smiling for the photograph, living our best life. But we round the corner, you know, to the second lift hill where the goat is.
Yeah.
And then just bam, we stopped. So we kind of looked at each other, and he kind of looked at me like as in, ah, shite. And I looked at him as like, yes, we're getting evacuated. It was two very different reactions. It was very funny. We were left on the train for about 5 or 6 minutes before any sort of announcement was made, to say that we would be on our way shortly. Although, like, you know, I didn't want to be on our way. I wanted to get off. So we were sitting there anyway, and then 2 cast members came up and explained to each carriage in their respective languages that they were going to help us out of the carriages and we were going to walk off the mountain. So I'm like thrilled at this stage. Like, that when we were sitting in the train, obviously you guys got my voice notes of me going, lads, I think I'm being evacuated. I can't wait. This is exciting. I was very happy. So yeah, 2 cast members came up, told us what was going to happen, and then took us all out of the carriage. They done it from the top back and got us to wait on the side until everyone had got out of their carriages. So you had 1 cast member at the back of the line, 1 at the front of the line. It was like being in primary school all over again. And we were walked off the mountain. We had to cross the train tracks. We had to walk through the train to get off the train. And then we had to walk kind of along the mountain a little bit. And then we had to walk inside the mountain. Now,
That's exciting.
you've never met a girl that was excited to see concrete and steel stairs as much as I was. I was delighted.
I love it.
They told us, they had warned us not to take photographs, not to take our phones out. However, I videoed the entire thing because
you
rebel.
Rude.
Now, because I was trying to do it sneaky, half the video is your man's backpack in front of me, but you do get to see the fascinating concrete. Yeah, we walked through the mountain. It looked like a warehouse. Do you know what I mean? Like, it wasn't spectacular, but when we got through it, we got to walk along the tracks, and that's how we got out the other side. So we walked under the lake alongside the track, and all the lights were on.
Exciting.
It was the best 5-minute walk I've ever had, I have to say. It was great. At one point, I turn around to him and I'm like, "We're under the lake. This is fantastic. I can't believe we're under the lake." Oh, it was a good time. I mean,
I have to say that sounds exactly what I'd be like.
Oh yeah,
it's
same.
like Christmas. You know, there was most people grumbling that the park's about to close and our ride has been interrupted, and here's me going, "Yes, give it to me. This is great."
You can interrupt my day all you like, Big Thunder.
And do you know, in all my years going to DLP, like I've been going to DLP at least once a year, if not 4 times a year since I was 16. And that's my first evac.
I like that it went from at least once a year to 4 times a year.
I think about 2012, 2013, it turned out 4 times a year.
I mean, fair.
But that's my first ever evac. Like I've witnessed evacs, but that was my first one, and it was exciting. And I'm glad it was Big Thunder.
Yeah,
it was great.
I was so jealous. Like it's one of those real like parks nerd things that you're just like, but I'd love to get evac'd off. Okay, if you had to like get evacuated off a ride, what ride would you pick?
Oh, I know you're gonna ask me this question, and I could see it coming. I just don't know. Like in my head, I feel like Space Mountain would be quite a cool just for me because I'd like to see Space Mountain with the lights on.
Okay.
But then also I think my biggest fear is getting stuck on Space Mountain upside down.
Oh God, imagine.
And that would be great. I'd be intrigued to see what a evac off of Tower of Terror would be like. Like I'd be interested to see how that works. Because you're still in a lift shaft.
That makes me out to be a liar because we were
on
Terror. So I was on it when it broke down, but it wasn't really an evac. They just pulled the lift down and you got off it as normal.
Oh, that's boring as fuck.
Yeah, no, it is. We went, it was February, not last year, the year before, when it was like really snowy, and we had brought Amy, my partner's daughter, and like she shit herself. She was like, "Oh my God," halfway through the ride. And
me and Amy would be friends.
She was, it was so funny. But when it abruptly came to a stop as the lift was dropping, and then it stopped, but we were kind of near the end anyway, and then all the lights went on and they just brought the lift down. So it didn't feel like an evac.
Oh, like I'm wondering, like, is there a situation where like the lift would be stuck and they couldn't bring it back down? But then I suppose they just leave you there.
They just get you out with like a cherry picker or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
cherry picker. Oh my God.
Do you know what I think it'd be really? So obviously my one would be Phantom Manor because I just love to have.
I do think that would also be very fun.
Be
I think that would be a fun one because you know you're safe. All you have to do is walk.
Or Pirates of the Caribbean, because I mean, like, you can literally just like step out of the boat. Like, I'd love to have a mooch around both of those. But you know what I think would be a really interesting one? Peter Pan's Flight. because you're just hanging from the ceiling.
Oh,
where would you go?
That's when they get a cherry picker. They have to like go up and get you and bring you down.
Those firemen.
Bad.
But I also think I'm surprised you want that one because I think you might have to like climb down a precarious ladder for that one.
Oh no, I didn't say I wanted that one. I said it would be an interesting one.
Oh, sorry. Comprendo.
I want Phantom Manor or
Yeah,
Pirates.
Of course.
But I think that would be like an interesting one.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So yeah. But I was living for your voice notes / photos / all the things that you shouldn't have been doing whilst getting evac off Big Thunder. I was living for them. It was great.
Oh, it was a great time. I feel like I was the only person on the entire train that was excited at the fact that we got stopped. It was a great way.
Like that time that the like big group of us went on Phantom Manor and we got stopped and we were stopped for like a good 4.5 minutes, and me and Kate were in separate doom buggies and everyone else was just kind of like contently sitting, and me and Kate were like leaning forward and looking at each other and be like, do we think do we think is it gonna happen?
And I was like, what's wrong? And I was like, we're gonna get evac. I was like, I think we're gonna get evac. Like, it's been a long time now. Like that when they say like the like, oh sorry, your thing has been interrupted, it had gone on like 8 times and then it just stopped altogether. And I was like, it's gone on 8 times, they've just stopped it now. I was like, that's it, the lights are gonna come on. And then all of a sudden it was like I was like, damn it.
What part did you guys what part did you stop at? Was it at least a really good part?
No, it was like really early. It was where there's the like hallway and there's the like rattling
the
door armor. And I was like, I don't like this. But it did. But the thing is, like, because Phantom Manor is sort of made in that like old styley like haunted house kind of way, when you stare at something for so long, you're like, I can see the mechanics. Can we keep going now? I'd like to keep on moving. But yeah, that one time I was so sure it was gonna happen. But then I was no, do you know what? It happened very near the start, and I was sure it was gonna happen. But in my head, I was like, we're so close to the entrance, this won't be fun at all. And then it happened again further on in the ride. And I was like, yeah, it happened now. This is great. We're like in the middle of the ride. But then it just kept going. I was like, stop teasing me.
Kate, if you went to DLP right now, you'd actually love the Tower, because obviously the library scene, you just walk through it.
Yes, what a waste of time.
I stood there and took photographs for a good minute before we went through.
Oh, that's cool.
Because the lights were on, so it's really bright, so you can see everything and all the books and all the props, and it's actually really interesting.
I hate, like, I know it like helps with the whole like theming and the wait time, but I'm just like, oh, can I skip this bit? Because like sometimes when I do a loop and I do it like 3 times in a row, I'm like, oh, just let me through the fucking doors. I'm like, I know, terror in French, I get it.
I'll never forget that one time that we got it in English, though. You nearly wet yourself.
So excited. I was like, it's in English. I can understand what's going on. Because the subtitles just don't do it.
Like, it's so much better in English. And
yeah.
You're like, I know, right?
The French cast member was like, so much better. I was like, right? Oh God. When the French are saying that the English language is better than their own, like that, the cast members had a time.
It's high praise.
Yeah, true.
It's high praise.
Anywho.
Right, so Sandy, what did you make of Halloween?
I mean, DLP just does Halloween right. Like, just in general, I haven't
Sorry, Kate, did you just stab yourself in the mouth?
Yeah, I hit the straw against my tooth. Sorry. I hope no one noticed.
Oh God. Halloween. I haven't missed a Halloween since 2013. And like even the strange year when the 25th was still happening and we had that skeleton party in Frontierland with the weird van, it was still better Halloween than most parks. I mean,
Agreed.
I feel like DLP's offering for Halloween is just on another level. Or maybe I'm just biased, but like
their daytime offering, and it's some what was it, 2018 when I got in like an actual like row with some Americans in front of me because they were like, oh, it's cute that Disneyland Paris they're trying to copy Magic Kingdom, and I was like, bitch, like you're gonna listen, like don't get me wrong. I think Mickey's Not So Scary is amazing. I'm wearing a Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween party t-shirt right now. Like, I live for Mickey's Not So Scary, and Kate's dancing along to Boo to You. I can see her. However, the daytime Halloween offerings from DLP are far, 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 far and above what they offer in Magic Kingdom. Because Magic Kingdom, it's a couple little pumpkins, and that's it. And they have a couple treats. There's no shows. There's no special parade during the daytime. There's no special characters during the daytime. It's lazy. They're just trying to screw you out of money.
Like, I mean, we get everything in DLP for nothing. Like, the soirees are hit and miss, depending. Like,
yes.
Was it 2018? The parade for the soiree was actually awesome. But I mean, we don't have to pay extra to see all that stuff during the day. So I feel like we're winning. Like, you know.
I have to say as well, Walt Disney World COVID times have better daytime Halloween offerings than non-COVID times, because they're doing all those cavalcades with Oogie and stuff, and you're like, well, you'd never see these people daytime in Walt Disney World. So the pandemic's brought out good daytime offerings for Halloween in Disney World. Anyway,
I feel like COVID in general, though, has had some positive outcomes on Disney parks. Like, I feel like DLP's horticultural team has just, I don't know, either been given acid or something. I don't know. They're all working extremely hard. The place looks incredible.
Oh, what a statement. Really got me. Like, they're just inhaling the fertilizer.
That goddamn horticultural team.
We walked, like, I know last week I said our first park we went to the studios, but only because it was the last day of the Marvel characters and we wanted to get them before it changed to the villains. But when we walked down towards the Disneyland Hotel and you saw that Mickey planter, and like, everything just looks amazing. Like, you could tell it was Halloween from the minute you walked towards the Disneyland Hotel. Like, you could just feel Halloween. And then when you got to the Main Street station, somebody just threw pumpkins at it. It's fantastic. Like,
I love it.
Yeah, they have their normal Halloween kind of banner that they have every year, and they have the pumpkins along the side and whatever, but there's pumpkins on the top. They have the witches' hats on the lights, and that's before you even step into the park. I mean, I feel like everywhere, between flowers and decorations, everything has just been fantastic this year. They've just pulled it out of the bag. It's been great. Like, Halloween wise, our first day we spent a lot of time on Main Street and on the hub as well. Like, we didn't really branch into the lands on the first day because I was just happy to be home, to be honest. And I wanted to get all the photos and wanted to see all the floats and all the characters and the costume changes and not really miss out on anything. If you know what to look for, though, you can tell when the floats are coming. Like, I know it's kind of random, but the parade lights on top of the Main Street buildings go up about 10 minutes before a float even appears. So if you kind of keep an eye out, you can tell when they're coming. So that's kind of what we done the first day. We spent ages just waiting for the floats and going to see characters, that kind of a thing. We done all the characters on Main Street, and they all generally have 2 character attendants who are all friends with the characters as well. And they alternate between the 3 of them every 20-30 minutes or so. Donald and Daisy at the gazebo are fab. I haven't met Donald and Daisy together since, it was probably the 25th. Actually, no, I met them together 25th. But like, you don't often get them beside each other, and they're just amazing. And to be the first thing that you see as soon as you walk on Main Street just gives me life, because I love Donald. And they're both in their Harvest outfits, which is, it's totally cute.
I do love Harvest Donald. He's so freaking cute.
Also, I really feel like Daisy's living for that gazebo. She's just throwing it wherever she can. Like,
Queen.
She's like, in a hip and a pose and a knee and a woo.
She's such a queen.
She's so good, because they're like selfie pictures. Like, you really have to rely on the fact that the characters have good poses, which they always do. Well, 98% of the time they do. But like, Daisy really fucking throws it down. Like,
it really does. And do you know what? All the characters around that kind of area, like, you've got Max at the board house and Goofy over by, was it Ribbons and Bows? Is that what it's called? When there's nobody waiting for them, they all interact with each other.
Yeah, I think it's
Like-
to keep themselves like it. No.
What?
Yeah, but I also think breaking the magic. I think it also is like to keep themselves like occupied and like in
Mhm.
character, not occupied. You
Yeah.
just said occupied. I meant in character because I feel like otherwise you just sort of zone out. Because I'm sure
Yeah.
it sounds stupid, but I'm sure they get used to the fact that they're in character or they're in this certain situation and they just want to like switch off for a sec. So I think it's good to like be bopping around with your fellow characters.
I mean, like,
Yeah, I agree.
particularly, maybe not with Donald and Daisy, because they always kind of tended to have a steady flow of people. But with Max and Goofy, there was times where there was nobody with them. So, like, our first half an hour on Main Street was bloody brilliant. It put me in such a good mood because we went and saw all the characters, but we spent ages with Max and we spent ages with Goofy, and there was just good crack and good banter with them. And yeah, it's a selfie spot, but you can still really interact. And
Yeah.
because the character attendants are there and they're not really seeing much people either, they're interacting with you as well. So it's actually just fantastic. Like that first step onto Main Street, and if you instantly go with those characters, you are in the mood. It just puts you in the zone. It's great. It's fantastic.
Yeah,
I love
it's
that.
mad how a good character mean greet really like sets the tone, isn't it?
I'm a character person. I don't understand these people who don't go and see characters. I don't.
No, and you tell you what as well. Ed was like, "Oh, I don't know how I'll be with the characters." Now, in all fairness, he was like, "I understand why you like them." He was just like, "I personally, I just don't know if I'll like get it." Fucking mad lad meeting Captain Hook, Jafar was well into it. He was like, "When can we meet Pluto?" I was like, "Fuck yeah."
And then Queen of Hearts just robbed him.
Yeah, so it's like it's mad. Like I still think people who are like, "Oh, I don't get it." Like when you're there, you're just like, "Oh my god, look, it's Mickey Mouse."
The people who don't get it don't have any joy in their lives. Firm believer.
Yeah.
Also true.
Yeah,
True.
they're not happy people, or they don't know what happy is.
Whoa, okay.
No offense to anyone, you know.
Harsh words.
What other parts of Halloween did you get to experience this year? Because I know they're not offering everything due to COVID. So what else did you do?
Well, do you know the floats that are racing down Main Street? I think is fantastic. And when I say racing, I mean they are firing.
I was just about to
down Main
say,
Street.
when you say racing, do you mean like they're going actually really fast?
Oh yeah, no, they are. Like, have you ever seen the end of the parade, like the end of Stars on Parade, when it's like pissing rain and they're just trying to really hoof it around
Right,
and get
yeah.
out?
Yeah.
It's like that. They are just bombing it down the parade route. It's great. But I wasn't really expecting much parade wise because like I'd kind of had it in my head. Obviously, before Halloween had started, I was like, right, we're not going to get parades. We're not going to get this. That's fine. You know, if we end up going, it'll be okay. I was dead happy. Like 4 parade floats a couple of times a day. And then you've got the Main Street vehicles. Sometimes the characters going down Main Street. Main Street is hopping. I feel like there's something going on every 10, 15 minutes.
Did you feel like that system was better than having one timed parade a day? Or would you prefer like the time? Like, okay, so I guess we put it to equivalent of like the Halloween parade, which would happen twice a day, one up, one down. So like, did you prefer like the sporadicness of the cavalcades, or do you think it was still better as like a one up, one down Halloween parade at like specific times?
Yeah, like I prefer the Halloween parade, to be fair. Like I love a good parade. I'm a parade person. I'd never miss a parade. But considering COVID, I mean, I was just really happy that we got any sort of floats on Main Street at all. And even though they are bombing it down the street, it's like the characters are still really trying to interact with you and pose for your photographs. And yeah, the character attendants are really like trying to kind of keep you distant and whatever and moving out of their way, but they're still happy and jolly. And you know, it's decent. Like it is fairly decent. The only thing is, if you're not on Main Street a lot, which I know a lot of people wouldn't be, you know, your families and you're just kind of going on attractions and stuff, you'd miss it. But I feel like people who are expecting it will see what they want, you know?
Yeah. I'd hope that cast members would be like, if families were arriving and they were like, oh, when's the parade? And they're like, oh, unfortunately, we're not having parades at the moment, but we are doing like intermittent cavalcades, like make sure you're on Main Street around maybe possibly this time.
That's the thing. Nobody was kind of given times or even a rough, you could even kind of see do you know, like cast members starting to kind of come out, more cast members than normal, and trying to make themselves look busy. So that people weren't hoping there was something happening.
All I can picture is that cast member at Oogie Boogie being like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. I don't know this boogeyman. No one's gonna be here. Like, y'all need to leave. And we were just like, what?
Oh, come on.
They're just so obtuse at times. They're just like,
it is mad how sometimes cast members are just like, where? Who? Oh, I work here? This is my job. No, who are you? Go away.
You know what? In France, though, you kind of think to yourself, oh, this guy's messing, but he probably isn't. He probably is very unaware.
Has not a fucking clue what's going on. He's like, a parade.
What?
On a Wednesday.
Yeah, please. Madame, we are in a pandemic.
The only kind of thing you could actually time was Maleficent coming out in the castle courtyard, because, well, maybe you couldn't time it. I'm sure if you're clever, you could. But like, we were in the Christmas shop and we were shopping around, and all of a sudden there was this fucking loud bang. I was like, oh, there's thunder. The girl behind the counter started laughing, and I was like, it's not thunder. She was like, no, that's Maleficent. And we were talking away. And she was like, yeah, this happens 16 times a day.
Holy shit.
That's a cast member that's pissed off listening to that.
Yeah, we see Sandy was there going 16 times a day. Park's open for 8 hours. Oh, so every 20-30 minutes or so, we have Maleficent coming out.
Detective Sandy.
Yeah. Which meant we actually didn't miss Maleficent. We could catch her if we were, you know, every half hour or so if we wanted some decent pictures. Like, she's not there for long. She comes out with Diablo. There's a bit of smoke, a bit of banging, and she says her little spiel and then goes off. But it's a really good photo op. The photos there look pretty good. Like, if you stand in front of her brambles as she's coming out and all the mist is everywhere and she's just on the castle, it is pretty cool. It does look nice.
It sounds fab.
Good photo op. I suppose Halloween wise.
Did you watch the Castle Stage show? The one with Ursula?
Yeah.
You don't sound too impressed.
No, like, I mean, right, she debuted last year. We saw her last year, and the questionable enough show that came with her, and it was fine. And I love villains. Like, I mean, I love villains. But the best thing about that show was the meet and greet afterwards. So the fact that it's just Ursula on the stage, and, well, yeah, you know, her eels are dancing around and there's bubbles, but she sings her song and then she goes. Like, you don't know when she's coming on, and all of a sudden you see somebody in a Jedi robe being walked to the stage. So you're like, oh, this is happening.
Oh, wow. I never even thought of that.
Yeah. They open the gates, kind of. You can kind of tell, you know, the guys with the headphones start to kind of walk around the stage. You're like, right, okay, this is happening. It's about 5-10 minutes. There's a bit of pyrotechnics at the end. It's fine. To be fair to Ursula, God love her, whoever's playing her, like, she is giving it socks. She's so animated. Her voice is fantastic, but it's not a lot to watch. Do you know? Like, it's not my.
To be fair, I don't think I have ever seen a Castle Stage show where I've been like, fuck me, that was great. Do you know what I mean? The Castle Stage shows are just not my thing. Like, when we were there last year for Halloween, bear in mind, me and Kate were there twice for Halloween. We watched the Castle Stage show once.
Yeah.
We rarely missed a Vive la Vie.
Yeah.
Oh, this is true. Yeah.
Those little Skelebays, we didn't miss them.
With the castle shows, generally they're better in the dark, because everything lights up and it just looks better.
Yeah.
But it's like putting lipstick on a pig, you know, like, it can only do so much.
Wow, that's such a harsh statement. I mean, like, I want to like the castle shows. Like, I like theatrics and I love shows. Like, I want to enjoy this, like, singing and dancing and acting performance, but they're just not that great sometimes.
Yeah. Actually, the best one was the one for the 25th. That was fantastic. That was very
the one with the fans. No.
You know the one where they kind of done a bit on each land.
Yeah, I don't think I ever actually watched that. What I distinctly remember about that show is that show was like finishing and the characters were about to start like walking backstage. But this was when I was like gung ho trying to get to Jack Skellington, and I just kept shouting back at Amy that she should just stay and say hello to Peter Pan. That's about as much of that show as I recall. And Kate's looking at me like she's no idea.
I was like, no, I don't care what's happening, but I just think everyone should stick together. Strength in numbers.
Like, the show was okay. I mean, if you've not been before, yeah, it's something to look at. If you have been before and have seen things that are moderately better, you probably don't want to watch this. Do you know?
Yeah,
fair.
That's my kind of taking on it. Frontierland, lads, I mean, I feel like every pumpkin in the back of house was just thrown in Frontierland. Whatever didn't fit on Main Street is in Frontierland, and it's wonderful.
Yeah,
like
I love spooky Frontierland.
Oh my god, you know, like down by the Pablo Trading Post, which was actually open the entire time we were there, like midweek.
Wow,
excited. And they had a pin board outside, so you still could pin trade, which they had said that wasn't allowed, but the pin board was out, so you know.
I know in Disney World they were doing it that you could pick off the board, but the pin that you're swapping with goes into a special box, and then that box gets, and then the pins in the box get sanitized before they get put on the board.
There wasn't great ones on the board, so we didn't actually
that's fair.
trade. We bought instead. But walking from there down to the Frontierland station, there's scarecrows everywhere and pumpkins everywhere. It's great. You know, like around where they used to have the Christmas village and stuff, where Santa used to be, like all down that way. It's just a scarecrow patch and a pumpkin patch. Like, it's lovely. You could spend ages down there and just get so many photographs, and it's deserted because nobody walks down that way. It's lovely.
We did that last year. That's where that cute picture of me and KP in the frame is.
Oh yeah.
Yes. Yeah, that's where we had that nap on that bench.
What bench?
I think that was a you thing, Kate.
Is that not what I said? No.
Another great thing about Frontierland as well is, you know, those pumpkin people that they had out all the time in 2010. They are on Fort Comstock in the morning, and they're great.
I've seen those, and I've never seen the actual, like, well, I think there's usually one or two of them on one of the floats for Vive la Vie, but like, you don't get to see them, and I'm just like, I want to meet the pumpkin people. I want to be a pumpkin person.
I think it was 2010 where the Halloween was just full of those people, and like people with scarecrow outfits, and I think they were everywhere, and it was kind of terrifying but good. But I'm glad they brought them back because they're really sassy, and the music's really, really loud around there when they come out. They're there for 5-10 minutes and then they go back in. I only caught them once though, which means they're quite sporadic because I was trying to keep an eye on things and what we could get to see again. But I like them. They're very sassy. They're great for the photographs. They're good.
What is there were two things that I wanted to ask. One was around kind of like merchandise, because DLP ain't the best for Halloween merchandise, but also the villains meet and greet. So whichever of those you want to start with.
Merchandise this year hasn't been too bad. I mean, they've got the new ears this year, which I didn't like the photographs of. Seen them in person and I was like, yes, I need them. They're lovely. And they're all kind of different colors. Do you know, like some of them are a little bit more pink than others. Some of them are a bit more bronzy than others. They're fab. I actually quite like the ears this year. And then they have the usual kind of stuff, do you know, like your Halloween Minnie and Mickey and your candle holders. There was a couple of new mugs this year. But the pins this year were lovely. Loved
pins
the
are
pins.
very cute.
They came out the day we arrived, and that was the day that I bought 400 of them. I mean, I bought a set for you. I picked up Kate's one. I picked up, I had other friends that wanted like the full set. I wanted the full set. I think I bought 5 full sets of those all together, of all of them.
Now, isn't it terrible that you were allowed to do that?
Yeah, I think so. No, 100%, because I
know
said
that. Someone who's getting the pins, I'm like, woo, but like, that's
I'm very
awful.
grateful you could, but yeah.
Like, I mean, if I couldn't, I could have just went to a different shop each time and bought them. It would have been fine. But the fact that I bought them all at once and handed them to the cast member, and he was like, "Oh, you like pins?" I'm like, "Yeah, not really, not all for me." Yeah, it was fine. Like, but I do agree. I think it's mad that I was actually allowed to buy 5 full sets and then a couple of singles. Like that shouldn't be allowed.
No,
but it was, so it's fine. It's fine. I didn't actually. Do you know, Halloween wise, I didn't buy anything for myself, merchandise wise. Really, like I bought the pins. I thought about the ears, but didn't. I got myself a dress, but that tends to be there all the time. That little villain's dress. So, I got glasses. I did get 2 nice wine glasses that one of them broke. But, you know, that was my fault. They were in Harrington's. They were, you know, like the way they normally would do their glasses and just put whatever on them, particularly for different seasons. They'll throw villains at them. But these 2 wine glasses were poison apple glasses. And I mean, if you know me, I love it in poison apple. So I bought myself 2 glasses. They're fabulous and I love them. I haven't used them yet though. I feel like I need nice nails to use them. Well, yeah. The other one, to be fair, is actually on display. We have like a little table. And the first time I had like the DLP wine and the DLP champagne, we brought the bottles home. So they're sitting like on a little table. So that glass is actually beside them. Yeah.
Nice.
Because it's not broken, it's just cracked, is it?
It's cracked. Yeah, it is cracked. And here's me thinking putting them in a backpack all wrapped up in scarves and tissue and everything would be fine. But the top one obviously got a bang of some sort and it cracked.
So sad.
Yeah. But I mean, I just have to go back and buy another one, you know?
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
There you
go. The villains meet. Oh, that was probably another highlight on my trip if you take the evac out of it. Yeah. But that's me. I'm a villains fan. I love my villains. And I'm like super surprised at the amount of people that go into those meet and greets, just get one photograph and just walk off. I mean, I stood there having a full-on blown chat with Lady Tremaine about looking bomb AF, basically. Just about looking great and dressing great. And she was on about her girls. And I mean, I stood there for a good, I'd say with Lady Tremaine and the Evil Queen, we were there for a good 3 minutes with those, just chatting. And I was wearing my Evil Queen jacket as well, which went down very well. And we got some really good photos. And the Evil Queen loved it. And then she was like, "You have to get a photograph of your jacket with me, your favorite, in the background." I was like, yeah, I do. Why wouldn't I be your favorite? I'm like, yeah. That was fantastic. That was actually really, really good. And then it was the next double set that we met was Queen of Hearts and Captain Hook. But I had took off my jacket for that meet because I wanted the photo to look slightly different just with the backgrounds. But I forgot that I have Alice tattooed on my back. So we obviously had our backs to the characters to get our photographs taken. And the Evil Queen started stamping her foot. And that was a whole time. The villains were just on point. They were fantastic. They were great. And the photographers are great. And if he would have queued again to meet a different set of characters, I would have been like, "Come on, we'll do it again. Let's queue again."
Yeah.
But I couldn't do that to him. We'd already waited nearly an hour.
I always feel like with the villains and stuff like that, it's kind of like meeting Donald versus meeting Mickey Mouse. Like, meeting the princesses is lovely and meeting the princesses is great and all that kind of stuff. But those kind of slightly more like evil characters, they just have a bit more in them. Do you know what I mean? You can have a bit more of like a laugh with them. Like, I'll never get over meeting the Queen of Hearts and her just running off with Ed. Never in my life will I get over, because it was just the most hilarious thing.
I don't think he will either, to be honest. No, but yeah, like I feel like when you meet like the princesses and Mickey Mouse specifically, like you just know that there's certain rules that they have to follow.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm not going to fuck about with them. Like, I'm going to play to the storyline, and, you might say 1 or 2 like fun things, but like, you know, like keep it within their realm, keep it within their story. But like with the villains, you can really like fuck with them and fuck about with them, and they'll like give as good as they get.
I think that's one thing I was really apprehensive about, because obviously we'd booked the trip it was in my head. I was like, if I can go, I can go. But when I figured out I actually could go, I had kind of made a thing with myself going, Sandy, yeah, you're here for Halloween, but you're not going to get the Halloween you normally do.
Yeah.
And to me, that is meeting villains. So when I came out from that meet and greet, I was thrilled that I had that interaction that I'm used to, and that it wasn't compromised in any way because of a bit of white rope. And it wasn't. It was fantastic. It was really, really good. And I was very, very happy. But even
So,
no, go on.
oh, go ahead.
Even Meet Mickey, like, do you know, in the where Mickey and Donald and Pluto or whoever is with them at the time, that's a great meet as well. And the music actually in there you'd really appreciate, because it's all spooky music. So it has Halloween, Boo to You, Brave Enough. It's got all the Halloween tracks just playing on music. It's great. So you could stay in there for ages. And Devil Donald was who I met. Devil Donald, Mickey, and Pluto. And I feel like I ignored Pluto, to be honest. Like, poor Pluto. But
In fairness, it's hard not to get distracted with Devil Donald. He's just the best.
You know what, though, right? I love Devil Donald, but I feel like DLP were raiding the costume department for every costume for different characters throughout Halloween. One minute you'd see Mickey in one outfit, the next minute he's in another, and it's fantastic. Where is Maleficent Donald? Like, why?
That's like a DLP staple.
So it's such a fantastic outfit. And like, I love Devil Donald, but Maleficent Donald would have been amazing. And they have that costume there. Like, where is he?
I wonder if they've shifted off somewhere.
Oh, probably.
I do love Maleficent Donald. What a cutie. Little dragged up Donald.
He was brilliant. I love his Maleficent outfit. It's fantastic. But yeah, that was really, really good. The outfits, the outfits that they're throwing on Mickey this year, I feel like they're utilising every Halloween outfit they've ever had. And it's great. Poor Minnie's not so lucky, but Mickey is getting everything. It's fantastic.
Oh, that's good. So, like, overall, obviously you've done a lot of Halloweens in DLP. How does this compare to the other ones? Do you still think you get that, like, Halloween at DLP feeling, or what's the kind of story with that?
Yeah, like, it is scaled back, but I don't feel like I missed out on Halloween at all. I feel like I did have a good time. I feel like there was still a lot of offerings, even though there was no cavalcade or no, effective show. They've done everything in their power to make it quite spoopy and, Halloweeny. The amount of pumpkins everywhere just blew my mind. If they could do that every year, that'd be fantastic. I actually couldn't complain. I feel like they've done it very well, and it makes me very excited to see what they do for Christmas, because again, I love Christmas in DLP. So if it's anything like Halloween, I mean, it'll be a good Christmas season.
Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
Only how many more days until I can start talking about it?
19
days, and then I can talk about it properly. What a time that'll be. But yeah, I have no more questions for Sandy.
I don't think I do either. No, nothing else for me.
I think we should wrap this bad boy up and put him to bed.
And also put yourself.
So thanks so much. Yeah, pretty much. Thanks so much for listening, guys. If you want to hit us up on Instagram, you can do at Mickey Waffles Pod. And if you want to contact us on Twitter, it's the exact same handle at Mickey Waffle Pod. So just sans the S. But we all know Instagram's where the party's at.
And yeah, if you're listening on an iPhone, please feel free to give us a rating and review. 5 stars will be absolutely lovely. Thank you very much.
So yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week. Bye.
This podcast is part of the After Dark Podcast Network.